So you're going to come through and go ahead and, down res or up res these, get them all sculpted, obviously not like that. I have a picture I'll share with you that's something to think about. It's easy to say, and like if I do this F right now, they're all still the same thing. So I go to auto groups, and again, auto groups is just down in polygroups, and then you just say auto groups, and they'll take each of them. I can do this one, auto groups. I can do that one's already auto grouped, and this one I can do because we know it's a bunch of pieces, but I can auto group it, and now they're all separate. So, the big thing you have to start remembering or thinking about when you're doing this work like this, is the story. This is something you'll hear me say if you ever have class with me again. You've got to come up in your head with the story of what this went through. And 25,000 doesn't look right. Hold on. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I guess that's right. So the story. So everything in this world, everything we make has a story. So you can't just shortchange it and have a simple sculpt and try and find tricks for everything, because it ends up looking like the damage or whatever you're doing. Hold on, that's the wrong one. Sorry, I was using a different brush earlier. Okay. This is simpler. See how much cleaner it is for our needs. So you've got to think about what that break went through. And I have a picture that I'll try and download and put into the thing that I'll point out. But it's of a driveway over by my house, over actually by a fire station, by a park. It's got this huge chunk taken out of it. And I'll talk to you about that. But my point is that what's that story? How did that happen? And it's a weird chunk. It's like just a whole chunk of a corner of a driveway. The slanted part that goes up. And so, yes, we can do noise, and we can make quick things instead of Substance Painter or instead of Substance Designer, but eventually that doesn't work. So what we ended up doing is either we have custom things like this, a few and far between, but there are some, and then we also have the layers, right? So we'll have a layer with this detail, and then we'll have another layer and stuff like that sits on top of it, so it starts to randomize it, so you have this tiling that doesn't happen as often. Anyway, so when you're working on this, just grin and bear it. It's not that hard. I know there's a bunch of pieces, but just do that. Let me come back out and do this wood here. We're going to do the wood pretty much the same way. I'm actually thinking that we may do some basic sculpting inside of here, and what I would like you to do here, let me just solo this again here, is, again, it's this. So we have this piece, and the problem is right now they don't have any subdivisions. So again, we turn off the smart, and we divide. Oops, one too many. Back up. And then we turn on the smart, and then we divide. Now, the problem down here is probably going to cause issues. So we may, in this case, since they aren't such big blocks, need to divide it one more time and then try and smooth it. And this is the dance. You figure out which way works best. And see how much we're losing in there? So I'm going to divide it two more times and then try and smooth and divide it. And there's other tricks and stuff, but again, I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. This is a piece that's sitting under a bunch of parts. So, but look at that. Look at that. So this should have probably been broken up. So before I divide it, let me grab this face here. Fine. I should probably divide them up so they each have their own. Okay. I'm having no luck now. It's getting late. There. So here's what we're going to do. This one has the wrong divisions, like it has too many divisions in here, and I noticed that before we exported it. So let's talk about replacing stuff once we've done it once here. Come on, where's my? So weird. And we're going to delete higher. Okay, so I'm going to go back into Max real quick, and we'll take a look at it. We'll just take this right here, and we'll isolate it so it's the only thing, like that, and we'll take a look at it. And really, we have some extra divisions here, and probably this subdivision in the middle may or may not work or wanted. So this is from me symmetrying, right? So I'll double click all of this and double click on this, and then I'll do control backspace, and then I'll double click on this and double click on this one and control backspace, double click on this one, control backspace. I'm just trying to simplify all the stuff, and right here is the bigger one. This, double click on this, double click on this, double click on this, double click on this one, double click on this one, double click on this one, and this one, and then backspace. And at least we've got it evened out more or less. So what we might want to do is have these separate, right? We may want to bring out some of this stuff separate. So one thing you can do is you can come down here to the bottom and delete these faces. That'll help it so it doesn't, you know, collapse on itself like it did a minute ago. Yeah, let's just try that, and we'll just separate it in ZBrush. So I could re-import the whole thing, but I'm just going to re-import this. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to call this well roof, like that, and then I'm going to say OK. And then I'm going to come back into ZBrush, and I'm not going to try and replace the one I already have. You can theoretically, but I always get nervous about doing that because if I overwrite it, ZBrush has a tendency to not undo certain things. So I'm just going to come in here to ZBrush plugin and say import and go grab what we were just looking at. This one, well roof, and we'll bring it in here, and then we'll do that, you know, auto groups. And we'll see when I divide it how it works out. 3, 4. How about smoothing it now? Still kind of giving me that same problem. So there's a couple things we can do. We kind of want to keep this stiff. This is really just a filler. So let's take these off. So we're going to control shift and click on that one, right? Then we're going to control shift and click, drag off of it. And then we're going to control shift and click on the other side, this one. So we have those two separated out. And then what we'll do is we'll just say, first we gotta get rid of the divisions here. So we're going to delete the higher for now. And then we're going to just say, let's see, split hidden. So the hidden is now separate. And if I go down one arrow, we'll see there. And now if I divide these, and then smooth and divide, these are probably okay. Okay. So in here, and that wood plank, like I said, those are just kind of filler holes, filler things. I'm going to come in here and do the same thing, right? I'm going to come back to make sure my groups are set up, and then I'm just going to start looking at the big one here. And I'm not going to do it as damaging as I did with the wood. I'm just going to turn this really small here, just to break it up a little bit, turn down the intensity, and see if I can get it to, you know, feel like wood. And what we could do, we could sculpt in all the other stuff, that the edges and the lines and stuff in here. But we aren't going to do that at this point because I'm trying to get you through this fast, and we'll just use Substance to do that. But we do want to smooth it out, and we kind of want to have it done by hand so it feels, you know, not perfect. And right now, I could probably divide it one more time here. Hold on, gotta unhide everything. And then divide it one more time here. What do we got? 295. Let's do another one. There we go. 1.1. So that's pretty good. So I'll come back in here, and I want to have it imperfect, right? So I want to take this up a little higher, and then just, you know, I don't mind it being imperfect. That's what we're looking for. If you wanted to come in and do stuff like cutting, you could. You could come in here, turn this way down. 33 is pretty strong. Just come in here and do this. And then you could come in here and do like this. And then you can make a circle in here, and you can do all this stuff if you really wanted to. I'm not worried about that, like I said, but I just want you to break up all these pieces so we can get some detail into them. You could also use a mask or a brush or something. But again, the wood is not what I'm really worried about. So this is the next thing I want to show you. If we take it and we do this, oops, and do this. We're going to look at the whole thing here like this. Oh, and I just noticed that I didn't bring it back in. So after I've done that, I need to go back to the wood parts right here. I need to basically import those other pieces in. I can just delete this one first, like that.